One of the biggest fears I have for 2025 is the Federal Reserve, is the Ponzi scheme banking system finagling and doing a lot of dirty tricks against Donald Trump, against the US dollar, against the best interest of America. Because if there ever was an opportune time to kind of go after the dollar, go after America financially, it would be under Donald Trump's presidency. And I think that's why this larger conversation about Bitcoin and other alternatives is so key and so important right now. But do you guys share that fear or no?
Well, I think that you'll see that manifest first when the Fed goes after crypto.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's going to be some effort to disrupt that marketplace even more, but I am encouraged by how resilient crypto has been. Like, I like an asset class that has actually suffered some dives and has shown rebound.
The resiliency of things like Bitcoin in particular is built into the blockchain, if I understand correctly, and that's a benefit for all people, like not just Americans, which, I mean, obviously I want to see America do better than any other country in the world, but it is a good thing that it's decentralized and that it's something that is outside the control of any one nation state.
The coin. So you said something really scary in that they would tokenize the dollar.
Yeah.
That means every dollar is tracked, no matter what you do. They know what you're doing. And
you don't think that's happening to a pretty large extent now? You go withdraw $5,000 in cash from the bank. There's going to be a suspicious activity report. There's going to be a review of where those dollars moved, where they changed hands, where they were deposited. So you're already living in that world. I think it accelerates rapidly with a tokenized dollar.
I was wondering, in terms of the coins, you say some of them are resilient, like Bitcoin. All of my Hawktua coin holdings have not been resilient to market forces.
They have not?
There have been some others, the coin about flatulence and a few others.
You're a brave man to admit that you bought the Hawktua.
I will say my Dogecoin has improved markedly.
You know, the one that I did buy, I'm a terrible investor and I own very little crypto, but I did buy LGB coin. Not LGBT coin, but it was the Let's Go Brandon coin.
Oh, yeah.
I said, okay.
That got rebranded to Patriot token or something, I believe.
It? Do I get my money back? Because I don't know.
I might be wrong about that.
I don't know. That dropped to nothing. I did not become a trillionaire. So the real question I have, knowing nothing about crypto, is certain. I mean, Bitcoin.
That was the FJB token.
FJB.
Yeah, sorry,
FJB.
I apologize. Continue.
I picked the wrong stock.
Yeah, my bad.
I picked the wrong penny stock. There does seem to be this issue of like pump and dumps just going on in all these meme coins. But it's funny. I sort of don't want to regulate it because it's funny to watch. But at a certain point, mustn't there be some regulation of these meme coins, of crypto outside of Bitcoin, a distinction between other crypto and Bitcoin? I don't know.
Does it harken back to the .com bubble, where like you would just see roses.com and you'd see some massive spike in valuation, and then there's actually no business behind it.
Yeah.
So we went through this exact cycle before in the 90s, and what happens is there's 3 or 4 winners that emerge out of the space that dominate the marketplace, and then you get the system you have now.
And a bunch of desperate people are buying. They're putting their life savings into the next meme coin. Like, meme coin is a new phrase, if you've heard that, where people are like, I'm all in on this new meme coin. Whatever there are. Shiba Inu token was one. Doge was a meme coin.
Wait, hold on. If somebody's putting their life savings into the meme coin, is that like a certain feature of economic Darwinism that we're willing to tolerate? Because I've got a pretty strong stomach for that these days.
Now, maybe I'm a little more authoritarian. I feel like there is a role in government to protect people from themselves once in a while.
Disavow.
Once in a while. Like, you don't want them to eat addictive poisons, ideally, because that can toxify your system. You don't want them dumping wastes into the river.
Well, you're not protecting people from themselves then. You're protecting people from other people.
Yes.
If you're protecting people from themselves, that's a totally different topic.
But how, like...
I want to be protected from the government.
Someone that harms himself might end up more likely to harm someone else, for instance.
You don't
want to nip it in the bud.
The way I know Ian's right about this, I hate that I have to be 100% on Ian's side here, but I think, look, I'm not saying I'm a Rhodes Scholar. I'm not a Rhodes Scholar. I don't have an advanced degree. But I read some books. I know some things, okay? And if there were no financial regulation, if I were left to invest to my own devices, I would be broke and destitute and naked in the street.
And we might be a better
creative for that.
My argument.
Don't fib. You're far too creative. I've watched your show. You're a funny guy. You wouldn't be.
Stop it. Come on, get out of here.
There's a sliding scale of how much protection do we give? How much does the government step in to intervene in people's lives because they're not smart enough? Bloomberg had that speech he gave on stage where he said we should tax the poor because they don't know what they need, so we're going to take their money from them and buy what they actually need.
Look, the actual failure in markets is an integral part of markets. The big part of the problem that we see with government bailouts is there's no failure. I mean, we have a phrase for it, too big to fail with banks and stuff.
Yeah.
Failure is important. It's an important piece of information that you get from markets. And so to take away that failure by whatever means, whether it be government fiat or whatever, that's a terrible idea.
And responsibility and accountability. I mean,
failure teaches people that they did something wrong.
The only difference between the mafia and the government is that the mafia actually turns a profit. The U.S. government doesn't turn a profit.
And they only take 10%.
And they're in the business of screwing you over, taking away your freedom, robbing you of your wealth, and robbing you of any potential free liberty that you are entitled to by God-given rights. And I want those God-given rights, and I don't want a government telling me what I can and cannot do.
Let me ask you this then. With there we go. With like CBDC fears or tokenized dollars, do we think the prices are coming down next year?
Yeah.
Are they going to? There's a fear that Luke mentions the Fed's going to screw with Donald Trump. They can change interest rates. It's going to affect the economy for regular people.
I think prices go up. And I think prices go up in part because if Trump follows through on the tariffs, they have to go up a little bit in certain sectors. I'm for it, by the way. I think it's actually a mature, responsible, good, effective strategy to threaten the tariffs and everything. But it's like my wife was asking us, so Mac, now that Trump got elected, are the prices finally coming down again? It's like 30%, 3.5 years, whatever. And I was like, the prices never come down. The price, it just stops being quite as bad. But I don't know. I'm not quite as hopeful.
Butter came down. It was $7.
Yeah.
And it was, it shockingly was. And then I went to the grocery store and it went down to $6.
The eggs leveled out a little bit. Yeah.
Not that I'm an economist, but it's my sense that the prices will stay around where they are and wages will kind of rise to meet them. That's the kind of the way that inflation has been dealt with, historically. The wages rise to kind of equalize it. And that's the problem with inflation is a leader and wages are a laggard,
What I was trying to get to earlier was if we're seeing these big businesses like Bud Light back way off. They lost so much, a third of their market share, whatever it was. Target did. Disney lost $1 billion. Now Disney's announcing that they're removing a transgender storyline from their latest series. All of these massive cultural victories. What are they going to do next? I mean, is it fine to say that we can just sit here and lament the latest meme token because we've won so handily that there's nothing left to fear?
Well, now we got to make stuff.
I disagree.
Now we make the news.
What are they going to do, Luke?
I disagree. I think there's going to be a lot of foul play. I think there's going to be a lot of dirty tricks. We have to understand power isn't usually relinquished kind of freely. There has always been a struggle between the intel agencies and Donald Trump. We have these intel agencies right now creating bioweapons. They're overthrowing the government of Syria. They're launching drones. They're bringing us closer to World War III. This is something to absolutely consider and to talk about right now more than ever, as this is something that I think is going to try to sabotage Donald Trump, his administration, and his goals of what he wants to do. So that's why I'm extremely cautious with what everything's going on. I'm very optimistic. I'm very white-pilled. But at the end of the day, we have to understand there still is a big force out there that doesn't want to relinquish its control over the American people. How do we take it back? We take it back with personal responsibility. We take it back by taking our own health into our own hands and understanding that the power lies within the individuals, not within the government. So maybe not putting all of your hope in the government and putting your hope in your fellow man is the right solution, is the cultural revolution that they can't stop, that is really going to echo through America with Donald Trump as the larger messenger of this, because there's going to be a lot of problems for him. Let's admit it. Let's be honest with ourselves. I think this drone stuff, this whole Luigi manifesto thing, I think all of this is crescendoing towards larger problems that all of us are going to have to deal with soon.
I think one of the things that's got me worried is, just the other day, someone tried to murder Nick Fuentes. And I know a lot of people have strong feelings about the guy. I'm not going to sit up here and use this as an opportunity to talk about why we agree or disagree or we don't like that guy. No. Someone went to his house with the clear intention to murder him because he's a character. He's a person online with opinions they didn't like. This is being referred to by a lot of people. We didn't coin this the Mangione effect. This guy shows up allegedly in New York City, murders a guy in cold blood, shoots him in the back. And then you've got a large swath of young people, predominantly left-leaning, cheering this on, celebrating it, calling it for more. You had Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. I should say Elizabeth Warren largely said, yes, murder is wrong, but you can only push people so far, as if to imply this healthcare CEO did something that warranted people wanting to murder him. The system has not changed. Premiums have not changed. All that happened is their security went up, costs are going to go up, they're hiding who these people are. We can't live in a society that functions this way, but we have a large political faction that openly celebrates these things. So if we see what's happening with, let's get a little bit darker. Rudyard Lynch of What If Alt Hist had a prediction that 1,000 people will die by April domestically over political issues. I can't believe it. Right, Michael's eyes just went wide. He's got a big YouTube channel, and he's made a bunch of videos talking about why he thinks this is going to happen. And I personally don't believe it. But then you see what's going on with Mangione and the celebration of it. And you see the attempt on Nick Fuentes' life. And perhaps it's not going to be 1,000. But my concern right now is Donald Trump is not yet in office. There's viral videos already of people on TikTok. There's a woman, she's on TikTok, this video went viral, and she said, I don't care if I get banned anymore because they're going to ban TikTok. And then she vowed Trump will not make it to office. You have people saying, you have one viral video where a guy's saying, we're going to send 11 million people to DC. My question then is there a fear of escalating violence or anything like this? Or is the Mangione effect, is this nothing?
You always got to keep it in your mind that's a possibility, but not be afraid of it, because your antidote is to create positive energy. It's to create awesome shit that just blows people's minds and refocuses their attention on something creative.
I mean, isn't that how we won this election? We were the party that was telling people they could be richer, they could have more, and the Democrats were telling folks that they had to live with less. And so there is a unifying feature to that. When we go out and build our coalition for the future, I think it's really important, that the positivity be what we lead with.
Yeah. I think Matt, where you're aiming, the idea that we have to be aiming at something positive is absolutely true. But I also regularly say that we have a serious problem with the leftists in the country, that the notion that success is bad or people that are rich are the reason why there are poor people. These narratives are poison to a society. And the more we can do to push back against them, the better off all of the country is going to be. The more that and like I said, the positive narrative that you're talking about is a great way to push back against them. It's not the rich versus the poor. It's all a rising tide lifts all ships.
This is an insight of classical political philosophy, is that avarice, envy is really the evil, the beginning of evil in the cities. And so you see that. That's what this killing was, and the people cheering it on. It's pure envy. And it's people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders cheering it on, albeit with caveats. And these are people who've made their political ideology on envy. However, there is this weird part that no one's talking about, which is they did Obamacare already. Remember they did Obamacare in 2009? They said, this is going to fix health insurance, it's going to bring costs down and everything. They did, that is the law. And then Trump was going to repeal it, and McCain said no, and it remained the law. We were going to shoot it down at the Supreme Court. John Roberts squished. So that is the law. The terrible health insurance system that Luigi Mangione murdered this poor man for in cold blood. Allegedly, according to all the lawyers tell me allegedly. That is the liberal Obamacare healthcare system. How come no one's pointing that out?
Yeah, this Luigi case, I think, is extremely suspicious. There's a lot of lore behind it. It's very Joker-esque, and I really do think the manifesto was leaked for a reason. I really do think he's being lionized for a very specific reason. I think there's a larger gaslighting effect on social media that I observed that is trying to make this guy out to be a hero. He murdered someone in cold blood, but for me, my conspiracy mind automatically kind of goes to the point that the left and right divide is kind of over. The left lost. There's no more woke. All these corporations are moving away from this DEI narrative. What better way to subvert Donald Trump's agenda, especially his economic agenda, than to not make it left and right, but to make it top versus the bottom versus the top. And I think this is the landscape that's being shaped right now by the intel agencies through social media, through this particular case, whatever involvement they had particularly in it, in order to set the next kind of battle for Donald Trump. Who is this billionaire? Who is this businessman? Who is talking about getting rid of regulations and taxes, which is extremely important. But now that agenda culturally will be stopped by all these Luigi fans that are normalizing political violence.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.